Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Om Arunachala Siva. Jaya Jaya Sankara Hara Hara Sankara. How can one turn one's mind towards the spiritual path? How can one keep the mind right, in the right ways? The bulls and cows, which are generally positioned in the backside yard or their place or their stall, some of them, they might have got into the habit of straying and then gazing into the neighbors' fields and all, like generally. So even when they have the right kind of food over in their stall, they will go out because having been used to straying out, they enjoy going astray. It has become a habit of the mind. So those bulls or cows, they have to be lured with the right kind of food, the greens, etc. So we have to lure them back slowly so that they come back into their place of stay. Even after doing that, still they will go out. They will go out and then stray into the neighbor's fields, and then it enjoys that. So each and every time whenever it goes, so again and again we have to lure them back, showing the greens, the grass and straw, like luscious foodstuff for them. We have to do kind of slowly lure them back. They should be lured back into their original place of stay. As we keep on doing what happens is that they get used to being in its stall, being in its place, slowly, gradually. And then it doesn't go out straying into the neighbors' fields and all. It will be happy eating the right kind of food which is available in its place, because now it is made to understand that whatever the kind of food it is going out and then straying into the neighbors' fields and eating, the same kind of good food is also available in its own place. So it basically understands that and remains in its place. After some time, what will happen is that even if someone chases them out, still they will not go away. They will come back and stay in that same place, same stall. Because it has got used to being in their place. It feels like, it will get whatever is needed. It will come in the same place. So there is no need for it to stray further and then go out that way. So this is the kind of example given by Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi when a person has asked similar question. How mind is straying out, how to turn the mind towards the right things, good things in life, towards the spiritual path. So the same way, our mind has to be trained in good ways. So what will happen is that gradually it will get accustomed to being in the right position, being in the right ways. It will not go back into the earlier ways of wrong things. It will happen slowly, gradually, but it is very similar to the kind of example which I have just now mentioned, that it should be made to understand the value of being in the right way, being in the good ways. So as it slowly learns being in the good ways, the mind itself naturally understands this is better than what I have been doing earlier. That kind of understanding naturally will develop. So this kind of change will remain always. Because here it is not about controlling the mind. It is not about giving a kind of free run to the mind. to go and do whatever it wants. You go and indulge in whatever sense pleasures you want, wherever you want, however you want. There is no control. No. We neither control, we neither give 100% kind of free run to do whatever the mind wants. But rather, we lure the mind, we lure the person so that the mind understands the value of being in good ways, doing right things. It understands the peace and quietness which results when being in the right ways and doing good things, and which slowly kind of develop a taste in the mind. Okay, this is better. Even though it doesn't kind of gives me so much of excitation, but it makes me peaceful and calm and quiet. So this happiness is more worthy than going after the worldly objects of pleasures. So this kind of understanding slowly comes to one person. And even after doing this, the mind may not become steady. And if so, then what is the way to keep the mind in good ways? For this only, we have so many things like thinking about God, reading our scriptures, recitation of hymns, stotras, visiting temples, holy places, going on pilgrimages, visiting the samadhi shrines of great saints, doing good deeds, like feeding people, poor people, feeding the cows, bulls, dogs, cats, ants, birds, crows, whatnot. So there are umpteen number of ways in which one can indulge in good deeds. One can recite stotras and engage in chanting. One can do whatever help is needed for various kinds of people around. One can visit temples. So there are so many ways. And all these things should be slowly taken up. One can engage in puja at home, japa. One can engage in chanting, nama japa. So many things are there. Now, the main important factor which I have mentioned here is that the mind is made to understand the value of being in the good ways. This is the understanding which the mind has to develop. Likewise, if the mind is made to experience a superior kind of happiness compared to what it has been experiencing in going after worldly sense objects, even then mind will understand, okay, this kind of happiness is of a superior quality than what I am been experiencing with the worldly pleasures. So for that, there are few things which one has to adopt. First thing is basically to take pure vegetarian food in moderate quantities, because whatever food we eat, it directly affects our mind. So we have to take proper vegetarian food in moderate quantities, so it doesn't excite the mind. Second thing is, there is a very simple practice of Mahayoga, which is basically to remain quiet for 5 to 10 minutes in the morning after one wakes up from sleep, and likewise at the night time before going to sleep. Just 5 to 10 minutes will be enough. So in those 5 to 10 minutes time, just sit peacefully, relaxed, and you just have to be quiet, not to worry about whatever thoughts which are coming in your mind. Any worries, any concerns which are coming as thoughts. In those 5 to 10 minutes, one need not react. After that, you can engage in whatever the kind of thinking as required. But in this time period, 5 to 10 minutes of time, one has to just remain quiet and not react to any kind of thoughts or emotions or feelings. If one practices this daily morning and night time, as explained, it will naturally give a taste of the silence and quietness which is there within us all the time. And this thing will be with the person all along within, even during the normal daily activities. So, the mind will experience more calmness even while engaged in worldly activities or work. So, there is less chance of going after any kind of excitation or worldly pleasures as compared to the earlier situation. So, these are some of the things which one has to adopt so that the mind naturally gains interest and moves towards the good ways, engaging in good things, the right way of life, so that gradually it develops this taste for the higher spiritual path, which is the goal of life. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Jai Jai Sankara Har Har Sankara. Om.